Hey, how y'all doing? Back again with another episode of the It Factor, man. We got somebody great today, a great young man here today. This is Deshaun Johnson. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are, man.
Well, you already said my name, so and then it's on the Zoom like little name right here. So, but I'll repeat it again as formality. My name is Deshaun Johnson. I am a web designer and developer, more so web designer. I spend most of my career focus on that end, and I've been doing this since 2011, as well as also I'm a teacher. So right now I also teach English. I'm actually back in the classroom teaching middle school English right now, something that I'm actually really passionate about and have great success in. And we could definitely, jump into that because I'm pretty sure the audience wants to know is like, well, this is a tech channel. Like, why is he back teaching English? Like, what's going on here?
We're going to get there. It's going to be amazing. I definitely want to know that.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to share it and everything else too, man. So I don't want to dominate. I could talk a lot, so I'm going to really be mindful, try not to dominate over
You fine, man. I kind of act as a moderator most of the time. Like, let me chill real quick. It's about them. I'm just here.
Yeah, but man, just feeling the vibe and everything else. I was hoping this would be more conversational than just formality interview.
Right.
So
yeah, we good.
So yeah.
Yeah, when it's us, man, it don't never be no dull moment. Like none of the interviews don't feel like be a dull moment. Cause it might start off, asking certain questions. Like I'm gonna ask, say, you can start now.
Yeah, man.
How was it attending Grambling State University, man? What was that like?
Well, here's the thing. I actually grew up in Grambling since 8th grade because I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and my family moved to Grambling, Louisiana back when I was about 12, 13. I guess that's the age that you are, 14, when you were in 8th grade. So we moved to Grambling. My grandfather, his family is actually from Grambling. So there's a lot of like history, in my family and the attachment with Grambling, period. So I went to Grambling Middle Magnet School when it was during that time. This was like 96. Then I went to Grambling Laboratory High School. And then from there, I just went to Grambling State University. And really, man, it was cost efficient. When we went to the high school, it was very, how should I say, if you could go somewhere else, then, you're looked at as somebody that's like doing big things like, oh, he got accepted to a school outside of the state. Like, he's going to go study medicine or something like that. But at the end of the day, it was just really, it was cost efficient, be living in Grambling. Like I didn't have to pay room and board. That saved a lot of money. And then the house that I stayed in with my parents, my brother and I, we lived in a smaller house. So me and my brother shared a room until we moved all together. And I really just stayed there until I graduated in 2006. And something that you may not know is that, let me see, I got 2 associates and 1 bachelor's right now. So I have a bachelor's in English. I have an associate's in criminal justice, and I have the associate's in web graphic design. So, yeah.
So, man, tell me a little bit about, man, first off, we're going to start with English. So what made us go into English, man? Because I'm a writer myself.
Good.
I'm an author, man.
I didn't even know that.
I'm a whole author, man. So, yeah.
Nice, man. Okay, cool. Well, man, that's kindred spirits. I actually love meeting, fellow authors. I'm very passionate about the written word, but to be honest with you, man, writing, I just feel like it's a calling, just like teaching, so to me, they're going hand in hand. And I'm actually explaining why writing and web design goes hand in hand development. But since I was younger, I've just been writing just constantly. I love writing stories and those sorts of things. When I actually went to school, and I want to make this perfectly clear. I have no regrets about majoring in English at all, but I have to admit, I did fall into the trap in terms of, well, what am I going to do after high school with my English degree that I have right now? And I'm so passionate about, if you major in English, there's so many things it's a fly just flying around on my cord. You can edit that out if necessary and everything. Anyways, but
authentic.
yeah. So I just really had a huge passion. And now then today, man, if you're majoring in English, there's so many things that you can actually do with the degree because I had a big focus on communication style, just constantly writing. And I think I seen a Jordan Peterson clip where he talked about writing teaches you how to think. And I think, I do a lot of writing. I write down my thoughts a lot. I go back, I reevaluate what I actually just wrote. What was I thinking at this time? Actually putting it down. Did it need to stay in my head? Those are some really good questions that you can ask yourself, and having a good practice in writing is going to help you think a lot more. So when I majored in English, I wanted to pursue a career as a writer, you know, and a lot of people would say, well, you didn't have to get a degree in English to do that. Just writing everything else. I mean, I guess, you know, but the things that I've actually learned from my professors, the encouragement, the camaraderie I had, because when you're in the English curriculum, you're if you're a guy, I was like 3 guys in my whole department, and the rest of them were like females and everything. So it was just like this, man. It was great.
Right, you're like, hey, all these women here, I got to work together. We're gonna work on the project together. That's great.
Yeah, it was great, man. And if you have a brain and you're not, you know, like just the guy that's just this quiet writer and just shy. Like I was very sociable. You know, I enjoyed a lot of the ladies that I actually that I took classes with. So it was a pure enjoyment. And I think it was during college that I started to develop and open up more and develop my social skills, being able to articulate the studies that we did. So I don't regret, you know, majoring in English at all. What I think most English departments fail at is really trying to teach the kids, like, what is the practicality of this degree once I actually leave here? You know, in the times that we're in now, there's a lot of practicality in terms of, you know, becoming a blogger, using your writing skills to serve other people. And we can get into that. But it looks like you was about to say something. So I'm going to just kind of stop right there real fast.
Oh yeah, but no, you fine. I was about to say that even with me being a writer, like me going into computer science, it wasn't until like I think June, it was senior year actually, man. One of my professors was like, he read one of my papers and he was like, man, why are you not like, why you ain't a writer? Like, why you didn't go into English? Like you could have did both. Why do you minor? And I was sitting there like, I don't know, man. I should have. Because I don't get me wrong, I like computer science, but as time went, and even now at work, it's like, as time is shifting in my mind, it's like, I love writing. I think writing is a gift that I have. Like,
Man.
And it goes hand in hand, like you say, with teaching. So, like, me wanting to be a college professor soon, it's like, I feel like everything just working out to be into that favor. And I'm like, thank you for that.
Wait, is that your career, girl? Like, you really want to, like, be a professor, like, on a collegiate level?
I really want to be a college professor, man. That's my main goal right there. Like
nice.
The day that Jeremy is a college professor, I'm gonna cry, man. Like I'm gonna be like, I got the job. Thank you.
Wow. Man, kindred spirits for real. You know what, man? It's a lot, you know, that I mean, now that we're having this interview and we're just conversing, you know, that's something in the back of my mind that I think I want to do, you know, later. Cause I want to teach students that have the like mind to, you know, want to learn the things that they're actually into, you know, and I think somewhere down the road, I actually may pursue trying to teach on a collegiate level. So that really makes my heart glad that that's one of your career pursuits. Cause I'm thinking when I saw, you know, when you sent me the email and I saw that you was a computer science major, I was just thinking like you was, you know, used a degree, work in technology, work for a tech startup or something like that. But I had no idea that you wanted to, you know, that was the long-term reach. Man, that makes me happy. Super happy.
I don't want to see. I look at it as this, man. You know, and I say it's open space. I like tech, right? But I just dislike the lack of. I can walk down the road and like it's another brother or another sister, and I can do this. And not saying that's the reason why I want to move, but as time went and me working for someone else, it don't correlate with me no more. It's like, let me go be a professor, and at least with me working for somebody else, I can kind of be doing stuff that I want to do. And like just put that into the future people. Like, hey, yeah, you might have to work for somebody else for a while, but you know, find that thing that you like to do so that you won't feel so boggled in. Like, I gotta work this way and I gotta get this done. I gotta and I need a 401k and I need all those things go through your head. And you just like, what's gonna happen if I don't do this? And it's like it's no handbook to how you should live your life. Like, and don't let no one tell you how you should live your life. But I feel like being a professor, all the professors I had an open life. Because they'll do stuff, and like even my girl, the teacher now, you can do stuff, and it won't affect anything that you're doing. It's like, let me teach, let me talk to the parents, let me, you know, I watch her do that, and it's like, Jeremy want to be a professor, man. Like, at the end of the day, you know, hey, I want to do that because I feel like it's more free time, and then it give me time to just give to the future, man. That's what we really supposed to do on Earth. I believe.
Man, teaching is a rewarding calling, you know, and I personally believe that teaching is a calling, you know, biblically and everything else. So another thing I need to share with you that, you know, I recently made a video on my channel in terms of, and I think it was titled "How God Can Open Doors for Your Career," you know, and I know a lot of people there's a lot of, you know, trying to separate tech from, you know, spirituality, spiritual beliefs and whatnot. But when you're a Christian, it's really hard to separate, you know, how God is actually involved in your life or your career process and try to make it seem like it's all on your accord. Like everything that I'm doing is all because of God. That's it. You know, just the doors being open and everything else. The calling to teach, because actually beforehand I was like, I'm not going into a classroom. I was actually a Walgreens manager, and I worked with a guy who was like, who majored in education. He said he just went into the classroom once and the kids were so bad, it was like, nope, never again. He was just stuck working at Walgreens, you know. And I was like, whoa, and that scared the living daylights out of me. And all I've heard was horror stories in the classroom and kids not, you know, doing what they supposed to do. But when I actually went in, and when I had a different life, you know, when I actually became a Christian, I went into the classroom with the intentions to serve people, to serve the kids and parents and everything else. Then it was a thing of, like, okay, man, like I'm really actually enjoying this. I started substitute teaching first before I actually did formal teaching. That really gave me the experience to actually see, like, wow, this is really fun. This is rewarding, like connecting with the kids and that sort of thing, you know. And I was actually subbing. I was doing elementary school. Then I actually subbed and did middle school. High school is my cutoff because when teens get disrespectful and I'm just like, I don't.
I ain't got time.
Yeah, man. So that, I mean, it was just my experience, you know. And I would rather, if I'm going to teach older people, I'd rather just skip the high school level, because there's still that level of immaturity and the high school hijinks, man. And you get in the collegiate level. By that time, hopefully, you would have made a decision in terms of what you're seriously trying to do, especially if you're trying to pay these large sums of money to attend these schools, right. You know. So
there's a lot of money to be giving up, to be playing. You ain't got time to play no more.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. I hope I didn't go off on a tangent in terms of answering your question about Grambling and everything else.
You fine, man. You fine, because you actually, man, you the first person to like answer the questions that I had lined up, and we just keeping it flowing. So in a long time, I'm happy about that. So, man, like, this is the real question though. So what made you, you know, leave that full-time gig in design, you know, to go back to teaching? Like,
so, man, it's crazy because I wasn't going to leave the company I was at. Like, let me give some origin story in terms of how I even got hired there, because the first thing, I wasn't going to leave teaching to go, you know, do this design company. So I was in Katy, Texas. I was chilling with my cousin, my brother-in-law, and you know, we were just visiting them and spending time with that side of the family. And I was actually upstairs at his house playing NBA 2K19, and you know, we get so competitive and everything else. Like I was starting to crush him. So I was having a good day. So my wife, I'm hearing my wife downstairs, and she gets a phone call from somebody that she works with. She's a high school counselor, so she gets a phone call from a fellow counselor. And the lady that was on the phone was saying that her brother, who owned a sign shop here in Waco, said that, you know, they were looking for somebody that was like serious. And then my wife was like, she had said that, hey, doesn't your husband do like the web design or computers and everything else? And she was like, yeah. And I was just eavesdropping on the conversation. And after she got done, she brought it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll go and meet him. Let me go ahead and like talk to them and see, you know, how we vibe and everything else. And that was, you know, what I would do every day. I would get off of work and I would just go up there to the sign shop and just kind of learn the business and what they did. And it was just this like 2-month long interview process. But I think he knew that he was going to hire me. You know, I showed him my YouTube channel, and that I'm a lead into that. You know what I'm saying? I showed him my YouTube channel. At the time, I had my website portfolio up. That's also something I want to touch on in this interview as well. But I was just showing him everything that, you know, I was involved in, but more so I think he was more impressed with my sense of like business in terms of online sales and the marketing aspect and trying to get customers. And I was just letting him know that that was something that I was actually still learning how to do but you know, because I still have these like elusive passive income dreams and stuff. So and I think that's to a certain extent that's like a lot of people's goals. But you know, if I never achieve getting passive income, I'm fulfilled teaching, being in a classroom, and just doing what I'm doing now, man, serving people. So I ended up working for him for about a good year, and I thought I was gonna be there long term. And where the rubber hit the road, man, and we still have a good relationship, I would like to believe. But my wife, she's in a PhD program, and she needed to do a lot more writing in the evenings, and that would mean that I would, you know, we talked about this. This is something that we agreed on, something that we prayed on too. That would be taking care of the kids a lot of mostly the evening time. So I went and told my boss, I was like, man, so this is our situation right now. I need to leave at 5 every day. I can't stay here. I would stay at the job to like 6:30, help out. And it was just, we couldn't come to an agreement on that. You know, he didn't even give the option really to, it was either like, I either, you know, figure things out with my wife, or I just look for another job.
Oh, no, man. Yeah, stuff happens though, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah. I'm not mad about it. I was just like, it was something I had to go back and pray on again, because I really didn't want to leave. But, you know, it'll be times, man, I'll be sitting there, I'll do the website stuff at his job, and I'll just be sitting there like, man, I wish I was back in the classroom. And I wasn't saying that, you know, because the job was bad. It was just one of those things where it was a lot of the aspects of the job, I mean, of the classroom, that I just missed. You know, the camaraderie of the students, the actual teaching, trying to figure out how to make abstract things understandable to students. That is what, you know, I would just be sitting there, I would just miss it. You know, it's like a long lost girlfriend or something like that. I don't know, but in the midst of me doing the web design stuff there, you know, I just had a hunger to just go back, man. And that's really what it comes down to. While I'm on the subject, do you want me to talk about what I actually did at the job real quick? Because I know that was questions in terms of, you know, what I actually enjoyed from the web design. So I got to actually do a lot of good fun projects. I actually designed the logo that's on a carpet company building right now, and that's really like impressive. Like, yeah, man,
big dog out here. I was gonna say, I designed a logo, you know, real cool.
Yeah, man, see working there, man, afforded the opportunities, because it was a sign company, and we made signs. And you know, I actually got to design this logo, actually meet with the owner of the carpet company that needed the logo. You know, my boss did most of the selling. I just did the design work and just kind of sat back and listened to him and picked up some selling tactics from him when he was doing that. And yeah, man, right here in Waco, man, like I would drive past that logo and I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. I had a hand. I was blessed to do this. I was blessed to use to do that. So that was a really cool project. You know, but my boss actually used Weebly, you know, to build the websites for the sites that he was using to sell and offer services. So I was just managing the Weebly websites, nothing difficult at all. What else? There were some other platforms I got to learn, some e-commerce platforms, because they also sold office products. So they sold things like stamps, little desk signs, those sorts of things, rubber stamps. And they made a lot of some good money. I didn't even know you could even make that much just selling office products. It's crazy, man, that industry. So I managed this platform called Utopia, and uploading products, changing prices, contacting and talking to customers, helping them with their website issues and stuff. You know, if they couldn't find something on the website, I had to figure out how to actually simplify things. So that was another cool project. There was also another platform I got to work with called Res Nexus, and it was a booking platform, you know. So, and I worked with an owner who actually owns he runs a lake shop. He runs the lake Waco and Marina. And I got to work with him on his website. I didn't really do the logo. The logos he actually asked me to design. He wasn't really feeling them. So I don't mind sharing that, like, you know, but we had another great designer, you know, and I think when you're working, you're not working on an island. And that's the biggest thing when you're working in this profession. Because a lot of people think that web design and development is just solo, but it's not. You know, you have to understand.
You need backup. You need backup.
Yeah. And there was a guy there that was way better than me in terms of design. And that really helped me relieve a lot of the stress that could have fell on my shoulders, because he was so good at design. with like graphic design, like Photoshop and that sort of thing, that I only needed to focus then on some of the technical stuff. You know, I also started running the email marketing campaigns for my boss. So I actually, man, I did a lot of stuff now that we're actually talking about it. And I could probably go on a whole nother like hour, you know, bullet pointing some more things, but there was a lot of stuff. I built a cup website because they wanted to start selling cups. And these were all just using Weebly. So I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I had to use Laravel or Vue.js or build it on some framework or anything like that, you know, and that's not even the case at all. And a lot of people who are on the outside think they have to like have these big tech skills in order to like get these jobs. And that's not the case at all. Like my main expertise is actually HTML, CSS with some working knowledge of JavaScript and PHP as needed, you know, and I have adjusted websites and some programming, just learning what I needed to know to make those things happen. But my focus is really just still HTML and CSS, to be honest with you.
You better drop them stamps, man. Hey, look, I know this good, but look, I ain't all in the Java, but I know this. So I feel like me being a developer as well, man, like a lot of people may think I know all these languages, and even me looking for jobs in the past, even now, you know, trying to find something or trying to look or help a friend out. A lot of people say, hey man, you're a developer, so you probably know all these languages, you know. And I'm like, man, I know a few things about them. Because some things people don't know is when you're a developer, and me in a computer science major, I learned Java, right? And when I learned Java, I had to learn Python for one of my internships. So in learning Java, I was already ahead because I was able to look at Python and say, oh, this is just a little bit of this. Oh, it's different. It's a little easier than Java. Okay, let me finesse. Oh, CSS like this. Oh, HTML like, okay, this is how you can do it. Because a lot of stuff runs together when it's not as hard as it's not as easy as writing now for me. But I can say that, you know, I can talk about it like you can talk about what you've done. That's amazing. I can too. And man, to be honest with you, that's the talks I wanted to have on this show, man, because a lot of people think that you have to be the most savvy, this, son. I'm like, man, look, if you seen some of the stuff I do on a weekly basis, you'd be like, that's what you do? Like, yeah. That's what I do.
Man, like, now it don't hurt to, you know, to make yourself, I guess, feel powerful in terms of like knowing those advanced languages and stuff. But a lot of the times it's not necessary. You're working on teams, you know, if you feel like you're going to be working on an island, and you must just be talking about doing freelancing. And I'm not a fan of freelancing at all. I would rather build product. I would rather use the skills that I have, build products that's going to like serve somebody and move on. You know, I managing clients and that sort of, it's a headache. I would rather do consultation. I actually just did. I got paid. I don't mind saying this out. I got paid $50 for 1 hour just consultation for some basic stuff, you know, and that opened the door for me because I wasn't even considering consultation in terms of trying to guide and help people, you know, because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to still do this on their own and they need this help. Like they just still need the basics of help and everything. So I don't, consultation is something I'll probably be looking into in the future, you know, but because I still want to help people if they're just trying to save themselves like thousands of dollars hiring a web designer. And if you could just spend, you know, a few, you know, 50 for a couple of hours or something, you know, you have to make a decision. If somebody may think that $50 an hour is a lot, but it's not. And I would encourage those that's listening who's thinking that they need to rethink how they see value in certain things.
Because you got to put your time into it. You know? And that's even like me with my guys. One of my guys I went to school with, so fortunate to do my website because I didn't want to do it, and do my t-shirts, you know, so like t-shirts, hoodies, anything I need now, we got a partnership. And while we were talking, I said, he was like, yeah, we can do this. I was like, bro, you my brother. We got a partnership. Like anything you pick me on, we got you, but I'm gonna pay you now. But I was talking to my girl about it and talking to one of my boys about it. He's like, hey man, it's a healthy price. And I'm like, it's my boy, man. Like all this money you spend out, you're gonna get it back. Like, why not work with somebody that you know that's gonna do the work? You know, you're gonna have to pay for something. You would rather go out to somebody you don't know, Joe Blow, you know, that ain't gonna show you none of the work they did in the past, and work with them and try to spend that. You're gonna spend the same amount of money or more. So like we're working with him. Every time he called me, hey man, I don't know if this. I'm like, take your time, man. We ain't in no rush. It's
You know
fun.
what? You talking about partnerships. Let me kind of segue into that for a second, because that was another thing I was going to speak on in terms of portfolio. Like, I haven't had a portfolio site up in over like, it'll be almost a year. I took it down the minute that I actually got the job. I just wanted to redo it, and I had to rethink about, what is the purpose of my website going to be now? Like, I don't want it to just be a straight up portfolio site. How can I use and build my own personal site to better serve other people? And I haven't had a portfolio site up in a year, man. And I kid you not, man. Like, it seemed like I get even more offers and, requests to do certain things for people. And even before then, when I did have a portfolio site up, I would try to redirect them to it so they could see it. It was like, nah, I don't need to see it. I'm good and everything else, man. And I try. One of the things I want to like also spread a message about is that you don't need a portfolio site. I mean, you do. They say it's your golden ticket, but what? Let me not say you don't need one. All right, let me take it back. All right, have a portfolio site, but that shouldn't be your emphasis. Okay, right. The emphasis should be more so on, okay, what skills do you have, and how can these skills serve whatever client base, whatever customer base that you're trying to do. Think about how you can actually serve people. If you're good at HTML and CSS and you understand WordPress, think about how you can now use those skills to start serving other people and let the customers start speaking on your behalf. And that way, that's going to keep the constant stream of people constantly coming to you, because it's just word of mouth. And now you're building trust. And my name is still going out there, with people I've never even met before, because I got people speaking on my behalf. I get friends on my Facebook all the time, tagging me, and like, people who are saying like, I need a website done, and my name will be tagged, and I'll get an inbox message. They haven't, I don't even have a portfolio site up now. I'm working on it. You go to it, it just says like WordPress something, I don't know, but it's not up. But I still get people just asking, and that's also another relevance about YouTube too. YouTube serves a binary purpose. Like I was telling you before we made this call official. One, if you start making YouTube videos where it's tutorial based, you're showing your process, you're using it as a documentation phase to show something you're working on and explaining how you're actually working on it, getting that practice. People who don't know you, when they see it, they're going to feel enlightened by the content and feel like, man, the customer has to make a decision. Like, they either going to like want to learn just from what you're teaching them. They're going to be like, man, I need to hire this guy, so he can go ahead and do this for me. And that happened with one of my Vimeo OTT videos. I had a guy reach out and he was like, man, I enjoyed that, like, video you put out, and it showed me some things, but can you just help me anyway? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I was like, sure. And I had a Zoom call. And when we made some things happen, I was able to answer some questions for him. So you get people coming to you with your YouTube channel, and that can also be your portfolio piece as well. If you want to just have a video up, just explaining how you designed a finished website or wherever the case may be, you can also do that as well. But I would encourage people who are looking to get into the tech industry, brothers especially, have a YouTube channel and start, get Screencast-O-Matic. I'm using this right now to record this interview and stuff, and find something, man, to screen record and get a microphone, talk about your process, do the Dr. Emmett Brown method. That's what I call it, back to the future. Let's get to this, man. Like, start documenting, jumping gigawatts, get in there, put the content out, show what you're doing, explain to people, man, so you can look like the expert, so you can be the expert. I want to say look like, so you can actually show people that you know what you're talking about. Let's just say that.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that, brother. I'm with you on that, man. So, what's your it factor, man? Why you do what you do?
Serve people, man. Serve God and serve people. That's really it. I don't, to be honest with you, I haven't had to look for a job, probably with the exception of teaching. That's only because I had to put in a job application, recently. But every job that I've had, like, people have asked me, can you work here? And I think that just comes from serving people, and God just opening doors and just walking through them, focus on serving others, man. Like, ask yourself, what skills do you have, and use those skills to serve people. The money will come, but the currency and the value comes from those relationships that's built with people and what people remember about the work that you did for them. That's what matters most. I think overall, that's my it factor, no matter if I'm writing, if I'm teaching, if I'm web designing, which I still do, by the way. I'm still doing that. I actually got somebody hit me up on LinkedIn to work with them on a project that they're doing. So, and it's funny, man. So much coming up in my mind right now. So if you can't tell, I'm excited. So I'm very excited to talk
I
about
can
all
see it, man. I can see it.
Yeah. So man, so on LinkedIn, man, like I didn't notice, but I had a gentleman. For privacy reasons, I don't even know if I can mention this now. I probably do need to drop his name or whatever so his business could come up. So, but for privacy reasons, I won't mention him. But I had a gentleman hit me up, say he had a LinkedIn premium membership, and he said he was looking for somebody. He was looking for web designers. I think he was looking for web designers of ethnicities, minorities and stuff. And he said I was high on the list when he did a search on LinkedIn. I don't post really much on LinkedIn, anything. I do have some like web design projects posted or whatnot. Right. Some videos that I did or whatnot, just showing what I do. But he said I came up high on the list, and he reached out and we talked, and we've started vibing. And yeah, and now I'm working with him.
That's that side pocket right there that we be holding on to. It's like, yeah, I actually do got somebody, and that's how it's been, man, with this show. Actually, man, people. Like at first, get the friends, people I went to school with, certain people I can reach out to. But now, sometimes, of course, I still reach out. I'm always going to reach out to people. But people reach out to me more now. And it's like, hey, can I be on the show? I'm not always, and I'm learning to let people know that it's not only just tech or business. It's like, if you have a profession and we can talk on it, you can tell me a little bit about it, you can be on the show. Like, I just want to learn and get your story out there. That's what I'm here for, So.
Man, I'm personally super grateful for it, and I don't really get to talk too much, in terms of, I think some of the best content comes in the form of conversation instead of doing a, solo talking head video, right. And people just listening to that. I think people really have to be into who you are to really, sort of pay attention to that content, right. So like right now, my YouTube channel is just about to crack 300 subscribers. I'm happy about that. That's something that I'm not even tripping on. That's a victory for me. Many people may just look at the number like that's a L. Well, no, it's not, because one, I have content out. That's how you found me. This is how I'm still getting customers. This is how other people are finding me. And see, in tech, man, if you're doing something like that, you can have like the lowest amount of subscribers, like the content is valuable. If it's crack and people are like addicted to it and stuff, they're getting some value from it. That's all that matters. And people get caught up on the YouTube numbers, and that even if I'm with me endorsing YouTube for a portfolio, piece or whatnot, like you shouldn't be, your career shouldn't be based on YouTube itself. It should be based on what I consider two things: your skills and you serving people, man. That's it. Now, like YouTube is just it's just a supplement. People, especially who start a YouTube channel, they get, I think they romanticize, the AdSense money. I've never been dependent on that at all. I've been trying to monetize YouTube for product sales. How can I funnel some of these, the subscribers and everything to, serve them and then supplement them with something that's going to help extend, whatever knowledge they're trying to get. Like for Vimeo OTT, I have videos that I've done on there, and that's, a lot of people aren't really talking about Vimeo over the top, but it's a rising platform if you're trying to start your own streaming service. And I had a client, a friend of my wife's that I actually been working with, for a couple of years now. I've been working with her for free, just, just building her websites, trying to use that opportunity to build my own skills up and everything else, man. But because I've actually took on the challenge of working with a new platform that I never dealt with before and just learning it, I put up video tutorials to show other people how to actually use Vimeo over the top, and it's paid dividends, so everything doesn't always have to be about earning money. And I still got a couple of people that I work for just straight pro bono, just for free, and the relationships start paying rewards in and of themselves with other opportunities, so that's why I want to tell people, man, like don't make it too much about you. Serve, just help somebody out.
Serve, and it's gonna grow. Like it's gonna grow. And it's not about the number, man. And I learned that, and I actually have had some people even tell me, like, hey, man, at first time I started, hey, man, you got this many followers. And I actually told them, I said, hey, man, I'm not doing that for this. And whenever it does get there, like I'm about to break 200, man. And I remember saying something on my birthday a couple weeks ago. I was like, if I break 200 before the end of the year, I'm gonna give a free shirt away, right? And a lot of people was following me, whatever. And I ain't meet 200. But you think I was mad about that? No. I'm still going to drop another. I got an episode coming out tonight. So it's
Yeah.
like that's what it's about. It's not about, you know, how many numbers I'm gonna get and I'm gonna make money from it. Now, if that ever does become another, like you said earlier, I want to have multiple forms of income, you know. And like you said too, this is how I know we connect as well. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not worried about it because I know I'm always gonna be blessed, you know. And I know that this is not the only thing that I have going for myself. And people got to
Right.
that it's not the only thing that you have going. It's
Right. You have to.
fun for me, man.
Yeah, yeah, and you really have to sit back and evaluate your life too. Like one of the another thing I'll share real quick, man, is that I was so obsessed with trying to have passive income so I can like have ownership of my time and everything else. One of the reasons I started YouTube, but it was a selfish pursuit. You know, I had to realize and accept that because it was only making it about me. You know, and I was like, I gotta change this mentality because I'm only trying to just help myself. And then I got, you know, because you have a lot of people on the internet just, you know, bash having a job, you know, like, you know, you should be an entrepreneur, like get your own. And I'm like, well, what if the internet wasn't here? I think a lot of people are gassed up and the internet has a lot of people delusional as if, you know, they're just an entrepreneur now because you can throw a product up and make one single sale and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And I think it has people really gassed up in terms of what an entrepreneur is. And if the internet wasn't here, then you'll be going back to those two basic things: serving people, using the skills you have to help and support others. You know, the internet and everything else, man, it's just, it's extra, to be honest with you, you know? So, I mean, it allows us to do stuff like this, but it's still just extra.
Mm-hmm. And once you realize that, you'll be fine. With me working with it every day, it's just like ever since I was able to, you know, create the show, it's like, and do other things on the side. Like now I said I'm about to make shirts and things like that. But even if I'm making money from shirts, it's some shirts that I'm gonna take, man, and give away for free. Like to kids, to young adults, anybody, because I want them to be able to see the show, see the logo. Like I can do that one day. And this is what I should do once I do that. You know, and if I ever were to able to get that number, I would take that money and donate it, man, because I even donate now. Like
Yeah.
me and my boy, one of my homies from school, we got a college fund. And I feel like that he was like, once we get it growing, we'll promote it or something like that. But for now, we're going to keep it silent. And I like stuff like that because every time someone do something, you don't have to post, or I don't have to come on here and say, hey, I donated to a kid today. No,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. We as people have to get away from that and just get back to, I'm serving a person. Like no matter what I'm doing, like even if you're famous, even if you're just a regular person, I need still serve somebody. Like, and it don't need to just be Christmas or Thanksgiving. It need to be at least once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a month. You know, so that
Yep.
it make you feel good that you're doing it. And you don't have to post or tell nobody that you're doing it. And
Yeah.
I always been that type of person. Always been that type of person.
I'm teaching my students right now. I teach 8th grade English at the moment, and one of the things I really try to promote to them is to, you know, that when they get out of high school, you know, they don't have to go the traditional route and find a job, but they need to find something that fulfills them. It's not about, you know, always making money, though you do need to find a good paying job to, you know, for sustainability,
Right.
live in whatever lifestyle you're trying to do. But, you know, in the end, you want to find something that brings your life meaning, you know, and choosing those things. Now, you could be realistic about it too. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not about romanticizing certain things just for the sake because it sounds good. You know, and this leads me into a question I was going to ask you, because I know that was, you know, what you sent in the email. Do I have any questions for you? And I actually do. So let me go ahead and ask it now. Well, you're in computer science. You say that you love writing and everything else. What, you know, made you decide to do computer science in the first place? If your passion right now is writing, was it a thing that you just looked at and was like, man, you know what? I love writing, but, you know, right now it's not going to pay the bills. I'm a major in computer science because I know the career opportunities are plush right now in that field. So was it something along those lines? What's the story behind that?
You know what's crazy, man? I was fortunate to be one of those kids that went to this thing. I was in high school, was in the STEM program, and it's gone away from my high school, small rural area where I'm from. And I played sports, but when I went to that program, came like my sophomore year, I believe, and that program would go to NASA in Florida, Cape Canaveral, and then go to Georgia Tech. We went to Auburn, Tuskegee, and go to those different schools. And then going to those different schools, I saw, you know, computer science engineering program, different things like that. And it intrigued me because it was like, I can do this stuff, like black people doing this. Like, oh, wait a minute, like I can do this. So like going there was like, I can have a job there, over time, more stories. I finally got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna be an engineer. I'm gonna be a computer science engineer or something. And when I got to CAU, man, I literally walked in the doors and I was sitting in the wrong thing because I went to CAU as a dual degree student. So I was gonna get a computer science degree and a computer engineering degree. And you had to do 3 years at CAU, then pick your partner school. And I actually went through the whole program, man. Went through it, got a chance to go to Northeastern University. I decided to come back and just get my computer science degree. But in doing that study, I wanted to take a high road because I felt like and at the time, I didn't believe I was a great writer. Don't get me wrong. But I knew in my classes, like I took English 1, English 2 in college, and I realized that like I was like good at writing, like getting A's and B's, professors, saying something to me, stuff like that. But like I said earlier, it's funny that my professor, one of my political science class I had to take an elective, I wrote a paper and it was like to die for. He was like, hey man, I know you said you was an author, but this is good. Why didn't you minor in, this or why? And I was sitting there like, why didn't I? I was like, what if that's for me? Because I never struggled in computer science, but I feel like I fully just did it because, I got exposed to it. And I was like, yeah, it's fun. I was able to get internships. I worked at NASA, GE, AT&T, and now work at GM. But to work in those different places, I got to see the different dynamics of each company. Like not just being the black person there, but being the person like, oh, you can work on this project. I'm going to throw you a project. Like, or you're going to do this. And it's like, all right, cool. Is this really for me? And as I got older, I realized like you said, did I pick this degree because it made a lot of money? Or are you going to do this fast? And to be honest, nah, if I had to go back and do it again, I would have done it again. But I always knew that just because I had a degree, my passions were still other things. Like, yeah, computer science is my passion at the time, but it's not big as a passion as me is me wanting to serve someone else, me wanting to write. I would rather do that than anything else. And me being in my MBA program actually pulled it out more now because I actually get the time to write more now and write on different topics about a lot of things.
Oh, that's exciting.
Doing that, it's like I'm actually good at this. Like, let me go and take a back seat.
Lighten your spirit up. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you getting that Goku, that Vegeta, like, that power up and everything. Every time you, like, put some words on page. Man, going Super Saiyan over here, man. Yeah, man. And for me, that's what writing does for me, too, man. It makes my spirit, every time I'm able to, like, complete a story, be able to complete an article, it just, man, it makes me feel like this is what I'm purposed to do, and you're able to look down and see like this is what I'm purposed to do. Like this is it and everything else, man. Do you have a Medium? Are you writing on Medium or anything like that? So if not, I would encourage that.
I should, man. You have to give me that information, bro. Like
I will, man. I have a Medium. I have a Medium account. I got several articles. I'll shoot you the information in email, and you could, if you want to, you can link it down into your YouTube description. So
I will, man. I will. Yeah. Because also, I'm an author, bro. Got a book out now. Had a book out since 2018. I brought it out while I was in undergrad. It's called Black Man. A little bit of my story.
Where's that, man? Like, is it close by?
It's crazy. I got a copy. Let me go and get one real quick.
Yeah, man. Like, get that copy. Like, you interviewing me, but shoot, go and get that bad boy.
It's also on Amazon, my guy. So, but, Black Man right here. You feel me?
Nice.
And then, back here, looking smooth. Sold over 200 plus copies, man, since 2018, probably more than that. But I just felt so good at getting that done. And I'm actually now working on Dumb the Comics. I have a cousin that's an artist that's working on artwork. So those are coming out soon. And I like writing, man. Writing amazing. Change your life.
Yeah, it will, man. It's something about having a physical book. And I have 2 books out. One book was a personal one. It was one that I did for my wife. It was a collection of poems. I did another book too where I wrote about, this is gonna sound weird. The name of it was I'm thinking of renaming it The Rainbow Tragedy. It's more Christian based, but the original title of it is If God's Not For Me, Then He Must Be Against Me. And the basic premise of that book was, you know, it was about, from a Christian perspective, I really wanted to explore, you know, well, are homosexual relationships really based on I was just born this way, or is it more originating from feelings? And because I know how I was when I was first getting married and I was trying to abstain from sex, and it drove me up a wall. It drove me crazy. Like there would be times, man, that was when I was like first becoming a Christian too. I'll look at the Bible, I want to throw it up against the wall. Like, I can't believe, like, Lord, you having me restrict myself right now. It was driving me mad, but I took that feeling and I was like, let me explore this a little bit more. And the premise of the book basically is, I guess the 60-second elevator pitch is that it's about two guys who are, you know, in a, you know, homosexual relationship. They were both in the army. One gives his life to Jesus Christ. The other one's mad about him and tortures him the entire book. So it explores persecution, because Christians always have to be prepared for persecution, not avoid it. You have to always be prepared for it, and that it's going to happen, you know. And it comes at a point where you're trying to stand for and speak for Jesus Christ. And, you know, even for me to make that video on my channel about how God opens up doors, you know, it was difficult, because it was a kind of trying to fight that, you know, what my body was feeling, what my flesh was feeling, what my mind was feeling, and thinking about how people are going to be like, well, this is a technology channel. Why are you talking about God here and everything? And, you know, just standing, just letting people know, man, like, no, man, this is how the good Lord, man, has helped me and open up doors. And I can't, like, I would feel just bad, and I feel like a faker to make it seem like it's all me, you know.
Yeah,
and
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that, because to even say that, you know, this channel wouldn't be, neither one of us would be here talking if it wasn't for God. And this channel wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God, man. And I'll never take no backseat to that. Never will. You know.
And you know, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not answering to, like, you know, to trolls. You know, when I die and I'm gone, I have one singular belief that I have to stand before God and account for things that I've done. You know, and I mean, when I'm gone, people are gonna still be, you know, walking around. They'll get over my death after a while, as many people do. Is life. But I have to stand before, you know, the Lord on Judgment Day, man, and I gotta account for things that I've done, and did I, you know, serve him to the fullest capacity in the way that he needed me to, man. And that thought stays in the back of my mind. You know, I don't want to let silliness, and a lot of times I do let silliness, but I don't want to let silliness in the end hold me back from what I feel like God has purposed me to do. You know, so if I have to, like, speak and allow him to have that credit, man, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I have to get over that fear. And getting over the fear is tough, because, you know, nobody wants to be persecuted and, you know, throw stones through at them for, you know, something that somebody may feel is petty. But I mean, it is what it is, man, for me. You know, that's just what it is. So that's what the book is about. And I'm probably gonna have even more Christian titles, but I think the focus where I'm directed to right now is writing in a way of, you know, where it will appeal to non-believers, where they'll get it, and then Jesus Christ won't seem like such a Quaker or such a pansy, you know, as most books do. I went to Half Price Books, man. I went in the Christian section. I looked at the spines and covers all the books, and I was like, what is this Quaker pilgrimage stuff that's constantly on these shelves right now, man? They got the book cover, man, and it's just like full of books where it's a woman wearing a little pilgrim's decoration, and some like a guy that looks like he's Amish, and the books are just riddled and just lined. I'm like, nobody's gonna read this. This is what people on the outside think that Christianity is all about. It's about this pansy, delicate stuff, man, and it's not, you know, like, I mean, living a Christian life can be dangerous if you're living it fully, because if you're standing out and you're trying to, you know, help people and talk and spread the gospel to people, then I mean, that's difficult for people who are very resistant, especially during these times, man. So but I'll leave it at that, you know, because I don't want to drown out our conversation too much with that, but I mean, it is what it is. I'll just say that.
You fine, man. You right on point with it, man. You fine. I feel like it's right from the heart. And actually, man, I can't wait to get a copy of that, bro. And we can exchange books as well, man. And that's pretty much one last thing I would ask, man. So how is it, you know, being an 8th grade teacher, man? How has it been a teacher for you in general?
rewarding. You see how fast that man, there's nothing like a student that you taught, and then like years later, because my first year truly teaching middle school was a 2014, 2015 school year. Most of those kids are out of high school. And some kids that yeah were behavior problems are doing real well. It was like, man, Mr. Johnson, I loved your class. There's nothing like that, man. Then there's some kids, unfortunately, that were pre-AP kids I taught, man, that aren't doing too good at all. We're studious, but something happened and it just things didn't work out. But it's rewarding because you take your expertise of the content, things that you're learning in terms of how to be a teacher, and trying to make it where it's engaging for the student. And politically, I can get on my soapbox in terms of like, because I have people that always tell you like, well, you want to make the content fun and stuff. It has to be fun for the kids. I'm like, eventually they're gonna have to grow out of that because information that's consumed isn't always fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you have to sometimes like
you gotta be real.
Very dry.
You gotta be real.
You know?
I feel like my girlfriend be, she's a math teacher and she's real, man. Some of her counterparts say, you have an advanced class, and she like, they might as well get it now because it's all from on down the line. That's all they're gonna get if they really want to go to college. Like they was pushing college like heavy, and she was sitting there like, some of these kids, I'm gonna be honest, they may not make it to college. They may go to this school. They may do this. They may go to, but at least they would know Miss Gardner taught me math. Like I learned something that's gonna go with me because we ain't just gonna use a lot of these things, English, math. You need to be social studies. Any things you're learning, you're not just gonna use them for that year. It's gonna be for the rest of your life, And it's gonna come a point where you're gonna have to show somebody else that. You're gonna be like, oh, this is what I learned in, when I was in middle school. What if you don't know how to count your cash, man?
Man.
People love money. Or man. What if you can't write or read? So I can come back and say, hey, man, Mr. Deshaun taught me so-and-so, man. And this is the reason why I think I can stay in touch with him because he did this, this, and this. And, like, it changed everything for me. I know how to write now. Because kids, be honest with you, man, in school, say, like, middle school, I really would write on the side. But, like, when it came to writing assignments, I'm like, oh, I can do this. It's cool. Yeah. I had the kids that would be like, either you can't comprehend because you didn't like the book, but I just be like, hey, man, finesse it. Like, write about what you like and tell the teacher, like, hey, I got kind of off track. This is what happened. This is what I was thinking. So,
yeah, man. Well, maybe the next, man, if you will, man, I would love to come back on your show and maybe I can actually talk about, the actual trajectory of irrelevancy. I was about to say that wrong. Being illiterate, because there is a huge correlation. I've seen it firsthand. So I've become passionate about that, especially being a, writer myself and being passionate about English. Like kids, especially boys, man, and not just young Black boys, it's just boys, period. They don't like to read, man. And them being illiterate, there is a huge correlation between their illiteracy and them going to prison because they're just not able to, they're able to understand the simplicity of criminal activity. But when you put them in front of more advanced stuff, it makes them feel, if they're illiterate, they can't understand it because they haven't developed their sense of understanding, their ability to comprehend. And what they don't understand either is that when you're able to read at an advanced level, it opens the doors and supports you in how you understand other subjects, So right now, my simple goal at this moment, man, is to just, in my classes, just get people, especially the boys that I have, just to read and get them to understand the importance of it. If you can follow a story in text form, it could be a lot easier when you're actually watching a movie and you can understand things such as plot diagram and, rise in action and what is a climax? How can you identify the turning point at this point in time when you're watching a movie or something, and those sorts of things, So, there's a high relationship between someone's ability to read and if they're going to be a criminal or not. It's really mind blowing to actually just see that, because most of the kids that are like really low readers in my class, they act out the most. They end up going down a wrong path that they have no business going down, but usually it's all just because of, the fact that they can't read. And in addition to like some home life stuff or whatever, but man, that reading component is huge.
Big. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what's one thing you would leave us with, man? Since we go ahead and get to the end of the show, I don't want to end, but I'm definitely gonna bring you back on a couple times. So,
Man, I look forward to that, man. There's like lots to talk about and stuff. I guess, man, just going back to just serve people. That's what I'm saying, just serve people. Take your skills, ask yourself, what are you good at? Take your skills and use that to serve people. If you're trying to be in this profession in IT, information technology, and you want to be a web designer, because initially that's really why you brought me on in terms of my involvement with that. If you're trying to be in web design, man, and you're like, I don't want to go to college, and that's something we even got to talk about was my whole DeVry involvement. So, but that could be a whole nother video on its own. But even if you watched a lot of YouTube videos of people telling you, well, you don't need a degree to be in web design, that may very well be true. Then you need to have some sort of plan. You need to figure out how much time am I going to take to study, because I have a ton of books, man. Like I have a ton of books, and maybe the next episode or whatnot, I could show those books to you. I got books on HTML5, jQuery, Dreamweaver, Action
Operating
Script.
System sitting right here.
Yeah. See,
like, hey, I open it up from time to time, like, man.
And see, even though I went to DeVry, man, I spent a lot of time just sitting up here, man, just studying code, just reading and building websites from hand coding and everything else. So it was just constant practice. You got to put in the hours, man. You got to do the work. If you're going to go into this field and you're not going to go to college, you got to put in the work, because you're going to have more to prove than somebody who has a degree. Now you could listen to that BS about like you don't need a degree, and like I said, that may very well be true, but you're gonna have a lot more to prove.
You just go to one boot camp.
Man. You even if you have a degree, you still have a lot to prove. You have to show what you can do. But the easiest way around that is to just find some people who need your skills, because they're out there. They need your skills and talent, and that's going to communicate for you the best. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have a portfolio and you're trying to even build the skills and even make some money on the side, start serving people, build those skills up, come to a point where you can feel confident and say, okay, man, I'm good. I want to do something with somebody, like learn WordPress. And for somebody trying to get into web design, I would advise this: learn HTML, CSS, and WordPress. You can take your HTML, CSS, start customizing some themes on WordPress that people have already built. You don't have to build any things from scratch, because they're built on a PHP system from scratch. And just start doing that and customizing themes and learning that, man. And you can jump into this like easily and effective. And then from there, you start serving people, you start doing some projects for them for free, build those relationships, see what they need, start learning those sales skills. I mean, and the sky's the limit is after that. If you're trying to go to non-college route, that would be the biggest thing I would leave people with a tangible example.
All right. Well, thank you, brother, man, for the episode, man. Have a great rest of your weekend, man. And we will be talking soon, brother.
Sounds good. Wait. Let me can you mind if I tag my?
Yeah, drop your shout outs, man. I forgot that one was down at the bottom. Yeah, shout out, man. Anything, your YouTube page.
Okay, cool. Real quick, my YouTube channel is DLJ Works. So really, it stands for like Deshaun Lanier Johnson for the first three letters of my name, and then the works means portfolio, and that I'll just do the work for you. Then everything that I do just works. It was a play on. It was supposed to be like a double entendre, triple entendre. Probably doing too much. Yeah.
Nah, you're a big dog, man. He said, "Look, DLJ Works." Because when I saw the name, I was like, he just missed the design out here. He doing it all.
Yeah, find me on YouTube, man. I'm big on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook and stuff, but I don't care too much. I'm really huge on YouTube, man. I probably have a YouTube addiction, just constantly watching videos and stuff, man, and consuming information. But you can find me on DLJ Works and connect with me there. Leave me a comment on one of my videos. And yeah, man, we'll just go from there. So.
Okay. All right, then, brother, man. Take it easy. Have a good weekend, like I was saying.
Appreciate you, man. Looking forward to the next conversation.
All right. Take it easy.